Welcome to Snip and Sip, the podcast where we cut through the noise about plastic surgery while sipping our drink of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Scottsdale, from my real name, Dr. Mata. We're gonna talk about funny, we're gonna talk about trends, we're gonna spill the tea and all the secrets. All right, guys, welcome back to Snip and Sip. This is episode numero cuatro, means 4. I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Jeanette,
Nurse Scottsdale, my wife, and
Alondra or Lonnie.
And what do you do for the office?
I am the pride and joy of the office. I would say I'm a social media coordinator.
Okay. Yeah. So, first things first. It's called Snip and Sip because we talk about surgery, but we take drinks. So what is our drink of the day, Lonnie?
We made some shots because someone told me it was shot o'clock. And we have some Mexican candy shot and a regular candy shot.
Salud.
Right, salud.
Yeah, I don't like alcohol, but that actually wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
what I do.
Why are you using your tongue that way?
You're nasty.
Why don't maybe next time we can do like some kind of juice and like something non-alcoholic.
An energy drink.
That would be nice.
No, because it's kind of late.
Yeah, we need some.
You need some pizzazz.
Spices. Yeah.
Or like a vegetable juice.
Vegetable juice.
You mean V8?
No.
If they sponsor.
Just
Yeah,
something,
we are taking sponsorships if you guys are
something
interested.
healthier.
Then we love V8.
And if you're promoting products, we're happy to promote on our podcast here. But let's get down to it. What are we going to be talking about this episode?
The Olympics.
Ooh.
And actually, last week we said we were going to talk about sexual wellness. So we're going to put that on pause because obviously the Olympics are front stage and center, which is kind of what's going on. But because we're still on the topic of sex, what are we going to talk about, Jay?
We're going to be talking about Iman Khalif.
And so what's going on with her, Alondra?
It's a controversial topic going on right now all over social media because she's won the boxing championship, right?
No, she has not won.
She won.
As of today, she is competing for a guaranteed medal where she's either going to win the silver or the gold because she's in the finals.
I thought she won against her competitor because her competitor dropped out, an Italian
Correct.
boxer.
There was an Italian boxer who, after 46 seconds, said her punches hurt too much, and so she quit.
I mean, I would quit too.
Well, if I punch you in the face, I'm sure it would hurt.
Well, yes. And
Would it hurt your face, Alondra?
Heck yeah.
But what if you're a boxer
But
and you're
then
used to
it'd be
getting
a
hit in the
free nose
face?
job.
Well, it wouldn't be fair if you're a guy.
So
I'm
I
a
would
girl.
take it.
It would be right. I mean, if I fought Alondra, I'd be like, okay, it's all game. But if I'm fighting you,
Well, what if Alondra was a guy and she hit you? And she still hits...
Are we considering her a guy? Because
No.
she goes by female. So that's what the whole controversy is about.
but she is a female.
Yeah, she is a female. So
Okay, so part of it is that I think there's some misinformation out there.
Mm-hmm.
So she was competing in the World Championships, and the International Boxing Association, I believe the IBA, said they ran an unspecified test.
medical test.
Yes, medical test, and they disqualified her and somebody else. And the information that's out there said that their testosterone levels were too high. They didn't actually examine them to sit here and say they're a boy or a girl. Mm-hmm. But again, that's not concrete evidence whether somebody's male or female. Remember, there's something I learned in medical school a really, really long time ago is called androgen insensitivity syndrome. There's different kinds. And what that means is that when somebody's born a male, they are XY. If you're a female, you're XX, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think most of us learned that in biology in high school.
With Dos Equis.
Or Dos Equis, right? You are Dos Equis. Okay, fair enough. But with this syndrome, androgen insensitivity, it means that even though you have an XY, the Y does not produce, or your body does not respond to the fact that your body's producing testosterone. So even though you have an XY, you stay a female. Because remember, anytime a baby is born or created, it starts off as a female. All fetuses are females. It's not unless you have the Y chromosome that produces androgens, or basically testosterone, that your body starts converting into a male. And so it's possible, and again, I'm just speculating, I don't know for sure what is going on with Khalifa.
Well, I saw some misinformation because in some videos that I was watching, they were saying that test that they ran said that she had XY chromosomes, and that's why they disqualified her. But then we looked further into it, and it didn't specify anywhere what type of test it is. So I think there's just so much misinformation out there, and it's sparking so much like controversy right now because people don't know. So it's kind of like word of mouth, like different rumors that are happening. And
yes, but my issue is that why are we not running tests before they go into the Olympics? Why does it have to be after?
Well, she was disqualified.
Or
already.
why was she ever tested in the first place? Like, why did they think, like, hey, something's off? Or
I think, when you're talking about, especially now with Title IX, which is going back to high school, is, I'm not pro or against anything from that perspective. But if you are a male and you are deciding to transition into a female, should you be allowed to compete in competitions that are strictly female? Because again, if you're a male, genetically you have
more
advantages to certain aspects of things. But I can show you there's plenty of males that are not stronger than females. There's plenty of females that are a hell of a lot stronger than me. They can bench a lot more at the gym when I go every day. So
yeah, but
that's not a fact.
They have an advantage in certain things. So
genetically, but that doesn't mean that your genetics determine what you are. Because like I said, genetically, I am who I am. If I wanted to have muscles that were this big, I genetically couldn't do that.
Yeah,
but there are females that have muscles that are way bigger than me.
Yeah, because they're probably also taking some kind of supplements.
Not all of them.
Hormones. I mean, females, we don't just go to the gym and just all of a sudden we have this massive muscles.
Well, correct, but if
we're just genetically not made that way. We're genetically more to have more fat on us. I mean, it's like we can eat the same thing, and we're probably gonna gain more weight than he would.
Yeah, because your metabolisms run higher.
Yes, but there's plenty of skinny people that are male and female, and there's plenty of fat people that are male and female. I think the biggest thing that we're getting here into the weeds of things is it right or wrong? Should we test? Should we not test? What is allowed? What is not allowed? I think that is something that I don't think we can judge here on this podcast. I don't think anyone out there can judge. But again, if somebody like Donald Trump or Tolkien, the author, who is saying like, hey, men shouldn't be allowed to compete against women, I would say that's true. But if your whole life, let's say I didn't know you your whole life, you're like, hey, I'm a female, and then you get into a sport and they test you and you're like, hey, you're a male. And your whole entire life, you've lived as a female, you've known nothing else other than a female. You look at your anatomy and it says you're a female. But they genetically test you, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, you're a guy.
Well, a lot of people,
how would that change your life?
No, a lot of people don't know that they have different like genetic makeup until later in life. Like I was talking to you guys earlier about intersex people. Some of them find out later in life that when they were born, they had both, like let's say they could have testes and a vagina. I don't know if I can say vagina.
Sure you can.
But yeah, like a vagina and testes. And so like let's say when they were born, like they found out and then the parents had them removed, or vice versa or whatever. Or sometimes it's later in life. Like I just saw a video of a girl who was saying that she was like 17 when she found out that she was intersex because her hymen was like
oh, you know what that means?
O'clock. Guys, already?
All right.
I was like, what is that? I'm scared. Okay.
All right.
Here, do you want the...
Here, I'll give her this one.
That looks really pretty in pink.
Pretty in pink. What else is pretty in pink? Salud.
Foul.
Salud. Salud to you guys. Yeah, not as good the second time around.
I think it was better for me. Maybe I'm just getting a little warmed up.
Maybe you are getting warmed up,
Oh
hopefully
my
for
God.
later. But
Guys, we're not filming the other podcast today. Please relax. Oh yeah, but I was
So
talking about
intersex.
yes, this girl who didn't find out she was intersex until like she was 17.
So just to intersex, what's intersex?
Basically, from what I gather, it's like ambiguous, like gender, basically, like different.
So when you have both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like pretty ambiguous.
Genitals.
Like it's not straight up like you're male, straight up you're female. You can have both. Is from what I gather. I did take a class on it like years ago, so I don't remember.
So like elementary
most of it.
school?
No, in college actually about.
And that was years ago?
You're
Yes,
not that
it was
old.
actually years ago.
You're not that old.
And my memory is, as we know, like a goldfish. I will
Fading?
forget everything.
Fading?
Yes. But yeah, basically it's like ambiguous gender. So like a cisgender female can find out that she had like different. I don't know.
So you think it was that or not, like people who like get older and like, hey, you know what, I identify as a female when they're males? Or do you think it was more
No, this is
genetic?
like genetic. Well, at least intersex is genetic. It's not transitioning.
No, but I think I get where you're going with this. And I think part of the thing that you have to understand about the situation, and again, it's been a long time since I was in med school and we kind of studied this, is that when somebody is born with both genitalia, it's one of those where I guess society determines like, hey, it could be a boy or a girl. Mm-hmm. But eventually one hormone will kind of take control over the other.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, even though they're getting raised as a girl, they feel more masculine or they're very feminine, even though they're being treated as a boy. Mm-hmm. And if you look at our anatomy as we develop as an embryo, you don't know the sex of the baby until the hormones kind of take effect. And so we have the same anatomy as it grows. And if we're talking about words, the clitoris is the equivalent of the glans penis. So that's the head, right? It's still a head for a female and a female, it's just the sizing is different. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about, the testicles, that's part of the labia as you're kind of developing and things kind of change. So when we do sex changes as plastic surgeons, we're trying to reverse that anatomy. And it's easier to go from a male to a female. It's a lot harder to go from a female to a male because of the appendage that you're trying to create.
It's easier to take off than to add.
Correct. It's always, always, always easier that way. But again, let's get back to the subject of the Olympics and Iman Halif. I think the hardest part is we're judging somebody based on a test, not as an individual of how they were raised. It's not her fault that genetically she was different. The topic that I was talking about earlier was if you look at most Olympic or professional athletes, they're genetically altered or modified compared to the normal individual. I read something about Michael Phelps that his lactic acid levels were much lower than anybody else. And lactic acid happens when you exercise a lot that your muscles get tired. But if you didn't get tired, guess what? You could work out more, harder. And so because he's genetically different, he became one of the most famous Olympic athletes of all time. So should he be disqualified because genetically he's different than his competition? Because that's what the genetic difference is between Iman and the other people.
But
Genetically,
you don't know.
they're different.
She has more testosterone, but could she be taking like injections?
I mean, it's possible.
So would that be unfair to the other
Absolutely.
boxers?
Absolutely, it would be unfair. But if you're testing everybody equally, and let's say somebody else who is XX and she happens to be XY, and this other individual that she's fighting has higher levels of testosterone than she does. So who's disqualified? The person who's tested XY or the person who has higher levels of testosterone than even the person who is considered a male genetically, if that were the case. And again, we don't know this.
Yeah, we don't know, but I also... Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said I don't know. I mean, this is just how like hormones kind of play a big role in your bodies. But if you're taking something, I think they should be disqualified, just like any other sports. Right?
Well, I think they have that from that perspective for sure, because I think all sports, for the most part, you don't want to have an unfair advantage. And if you're, and I think the thing that sometimes we forget about, like, oh, hey, you take testosterone, that means you're a better, stronger athlete. Actually, that's incorrect. I can take testosterone and still be me. Unless I sit here and I put the effort and time into training, into building more muscle or doing more activities, are you going to be better? Because just because you take testosterone or you take any other hormone or supplement, you still have to put in the work to be better. Just because you take it doesn't make you stronger or better.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think like the issue that most people have is they think it's like an uneven playing field, which it's hard to navigate that because you don't know, because most of the time you assume like if they're genetically a male, they're going to be stronger, they're going to have all these advantages. So I think people just see that like as it is like surface level issue instead of analyzing, like you said, like there's so many things that can attribute to that. Yeah. There's so many things that we don't look at, and she was raised a female. Like, we don't know if she's XY chromosome. There's just all these assumptions about it.
And what if you naturally just produce more testosterone? And then
Yeah,
how
which
do you
is
know?
the
Is it
case.
naturally, or is it because you're taking injections or you're taking any?
So there's a thing, too, like with intersex people. So, like, if you're all female and you had testes, I don't exactly recall, but I believe your body turns that testosterone into estrogen.
Correct. That's how you develop man boobs. You have high levels of circulating testosterone when you become, or you hit puberty. And because there's so much floating around, your body converts it to estrogen. And when estrogen's floating around and it touches your chest, females get breast. Males get breast too. And that's how people develop gynecomastia or man boobs. And it's really frustrating to me when I hear, it's okay, guys, just wait, get through puberty, your breast tissue will go away. It's like telling a girl who starts to develop her breast for the first time, oh, don't worry about it, sweetie, your breasts will go away as you get older. Once your breasts come in, they're not going away, whether you're a male or female. Those are just facts.
So what would you do for the gynecomastia? Like, can you walk us through that, like, to fix?
You know, I do see a lot of male patients. Probably 30% of our practice is basically male patients, and most of those have gynecomastia or man boobs, man titties, whatever you want to call them. There's different types. Some are very small, where it's just literally the breast tissue under the nipple. There's 3 grades, type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 2 has 2A, 2B. 1 is a breast bud, 2 is a breast bud with fat around it, and that's 2A. 2B is a breast bud, fat, a little droopy. Type 3 is like, they're literally like just sagging. They look like cow udders. Those are the severe cases. And the only way to really correct them is with surgery. There's plenty of people on social media, and I know I'm going to get some haters for this. Oh, you can just diet and exercise and they'll go away.
I don't think so, but I've truly seen some of your patients who have cried after they've gotten their surgery, and they're just so happy. They're just so grateful because they've lived with this man boobs all their lives, and they were made fun of, and then they get it done, and it's like life-changing for them. I mean, they've seen them like just coming out and just in tears. They're so happy about it.
Or that one patient who, because we put a picture of their befores up at the OR for the surgical pictures. He was getting ready to go under, and he looked, and he was like, oh, disgusting. And then, like, he just looked so negatively about himself.
Yeah.
Like, he felt really bad about himself, and then afterwards he was, like, ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know, I think some of the hardest challenges for us as surgeons is if we don't know the story and you see a picture, and if they shave, you would literally consider them to be like a female, and you're looking at pornography because you're literally looking at somebody's breast uncovered. Everything looks female, and then you look and you're like, nope, that's a masculine person with masculine anatomy, i.e. a penis and testicles that has male breast tissue that looks female.
Yes.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Already? I'm scared.
All right, maybe the topic will continue to
give Janet this.
Okay.
But
all right.
I do want to say, I remember this, I don't know, he must have been 60-year-old male. That's when I was back in the OR helping. And I remember him telling his story about his ex-wife that would always make fun of him and his man boobs.
Salud. To our 60-year-old male.
No, but he came in and he just wanted to have it done. He didn't even know it was something that he could get done. And as I was doing the pre-op, he was telling me, he's like, this is something that has always been an issue. It's like my ex-wife used to literally laugh at me in front of my friends.
That's
Used
so
to call
messed
me
up.
names. And I was like, really? He's like,
That's
yes.
just a mean wife.
Yeah.
You should have cut her a long time ago.
Well, yeah, but they're not together. So now he's like, now is my time. And he was already 60 years old. I mean, so it's never late to get anything done.
But I mean, think about living from the age of 12, 13 for the next 47 years of your life with people talking smack about your breast or your breast or my breast. That's what plastic surgery is for, guys. I know it sounds like such a cliche, but the purpose is we get one life that we're aware of, that we can live our best life. And if you can do something to make yourself, not anybody else, but make yourself feel better about yourself, that you look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good. That's what plastic surgery is for. It's not for anybody else.
BBL, guys.
Like a what?
Like a BBL.
What's a BBL?
You know what a BBL
Oh, what does it mean?
is?
Something that she really wants.
Well, tell me.
Something that we should, for sure, like help
She
the less
doesn't know.
fortunate, the
You don't even know what it stands
Brazilian
for.
butt lift.
Okay, all right. She had to think about that one
No,
because she
I
didn't know.
No, but we should contribute to society and help this world be a better place by giving to the less fortunate without butts.
She's going to start a GoFundMe.
I am going to start a
for
GoFundMe if you
BBL.
guys want to support. And
We can do that, the Alondra Get a BBL Fund. But you know what that requires, right? Usually people want pictures of before and afters and a little
I'll have
show
a little
and dance.
outfit on.
They want you to
Probably
take
not.
that outfit
No,
off.
let's not.
Then you're not going to get any money.
Nobody's going to pay. Yeah.
What if I have like my feet out?
That's a whole
I
different...
don't know about those dogs,
The
but
dogs. They just got done. I just got the dogs done.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, we encountered an audio issue that prevented us from sharing the rest of the podcast. We apologize for the inconvenience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us on Instagram or in the comments, and we'll be happy to respond.
I hope you had as much fun listening as we did recording. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcast sites for new episodes, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Stay snatched, stay hydrated, and until next time, cheers.